How's everyone, Kenny here from Kenny's Customs. Today I'm going to quickly run through how to install our halos for the fogs. This process works the same for a grootback, wiring and so forth like that, or any strips that you may receive from us that comes with said control box. This is a dual controller, however if you have a single controller, exactly the same. Most important thing is just make sure that you get the wiring correct, as we are working with DC and any problems may cause a short and a board to pop, voiding your warranty. Anyways, moving on, first thing you need to do is remove your headlights to gain access not only to the fogs from behind, but also to the wiring harness of the headlights, because that's where you're going to be drawing your power from. Looking at the driver's side, or whichever is the left side, right side, whichever way you want to call it, your standard Fiesta ST has, I think it's 11 wires, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 11, 8, 10 wires. Now, the colors may vary depending on year models, and from left from right, believe it or not, but so don't pay too much attention to those. The most important thing is the positioning. The wires that we're going to be working with is the second one from the left, if you have the clip at the top, second one from your left. This is your main earth wire to your headlight, and then your two on the right, the top one and the bottom one. They're either pink or blue depending on which side you're in, but I'll show you on the other side shortly. Now, this being your earth wire, you will be connecting the black wire of the supplied 2-pin connector like this to that black wire. What I like to do is I like to cut away the insulation tape, pull the sheathing back and work a little further down the loom so you don't have any worry about space. So you'll connect the black wire to the second wire on the left. This is very important. This is your ground. And then depending on whether these are green, red, black, blue, white, whatever, they will connect to the first one at the top and the first one at the bottom on the right. Doesn't matter, as they are both power wires. This top wire here is for your accessory power as well as your motors for your headlights. And then your bottom one here is for when your daytime running lights come on when they unlock the car accordingly and all of that so forth, or open the door. So that's a nice little nifty feature. From here you're basically then going to either solder or use a splicing kit to join the wires. I recommend soldering and then sealing with insulation tape, and then putting your sheathing back. If for some reason you want to go back to stock, putting the sheathing back and doing the splicing here further down is a great way for you to basically remove the wires and close this thing back up, hiding any work done on the loom whatsoever. And obviously with the sheathing now being sealed, and so long as you cover up the wires, there won't be any problems for the next owner. Alright, once you've got this wire connected, you can basically go ahead and plug it into your control box. Now, I normally like to put my control box here on the crash bar. I already have an older one there at the moment, but it makes a nice little place to tuck it away and out the side of the way. Right, so let's get that power connected. You'll notice the powers are the two. Right, so don't worry too much about putting the wires connectors together wrong. They can only go in one way, so you don't have to worry about crossing wires here. Like I said, the most important thing is that your black wire goes to the second wire on the left, and the two other color wires go to the first ones on the right. Let me show you quickly on the other side what I mean. So I'm here on the battery side of the car. No, sorry, my headlight's in the way, but you'll see the colors are completely different. What you'd be doing then is connecting to this one, which is a yellow and black, still the second one on the left, and then the two colored wires would go to this one and this one here. Your next step is then to take your wiring harness supplied and feed it through the shroud part. Now, to do this, I normally like to use the broom. Basically, now the most important part to remember is the part that has the two connectors. It's going to go on the side that has the control box, and the other side that has one controller, well, one connector should I say, will go to the other side opposite the control box. So we're just going to put this connector through here, like so, pull that down through there, and then we're just going to push it through. Right, now that they're pushed through, your next step is going to be to take this little connector here with the 3 little male looking sections and connect it to control box. Now this is obviously a dual controller. Normally they would be color coded so you know which one goes to where. If for not some reason, it's very easy to determine which one's which as well when you go control the fogs. You may end up controlling the big mouth or whatever your other second one may be. Very easy to swap the connector around. After you've done that, the next step will then to be install the actual halos themselves. From here you're going to go through the top. At the bottom, where you're at the top of the fog, should I say, there's a little tab. You can feel it. You can push it down and push it forward, and you'll notice your little shroud here will then push forward a bit as well. I've unclipped mine here at the side of you just to make life easier to pull the shroud away back. But if you are just working from home, you can just pull it back like this a bit and be able to basically get in there. So I'm going to be installing 86mm today. The only difference between the 86mm and the 70mm is this is a 2-piece. So in this case, if it was a 70mm, you'd push the connector through like this, making sure that you get the wire going over the top of the fog but through the hole in the shroud, and then you push this back all together, taking your retainer clip like this where it has the little cutout for the wires at the top, making sure it all lines up and just pushing it all into place like so, like that. For the 86mm, which is the ones that I'm using currently, these are my demo models, and the process is almost the same. You're going to take this little connector, slide it through this hole over the top of the fog like this. If you look at the bottom, you can probably see that there's a whole connection. Let me just push this through quick, and then once your wiring is pushed through, just line that up a bit gently. Don't have to worry too much about putting in yet. Then clip your fog shroud or whatever you want to call it back, surround, and then just make sure that this is pushed in nice and snug. There is no glue or any connectors. It all just fits with pressure and shouldn't fall out because, well, these ones have been in my car for about 4 months now, no problems. But yeah, as you can see, ain't going anywhere. Right, the next step is then just to retrieve the wire from the top of the fog here and connect it to the harness. You'll see that it can only connect one way. There you go, like that. If you go over to the side of the car, take the other end, that's a female connector, find the top of the wiring harness, line it up. Let's see if we can do this with one hand. Ooh. There we go. Clipped in, can only go one way. And basically that is that. Just make sure that your power is connected and that your wires are all done. And the next step is then to get your remote and to test it. Now if you've done everything right and you hit that unlock button, your halo should illuminate. From here on out, just to make sure that you've got everything wired up properly, I recommend turning the ignition on. And with the ignition on, if your halos are still on, it means you've wired everything correctly. The next step then is to take out your phone and search for the Wi-Fi custom fogs. Right, once you've found the Wi-Fi hotspot custom fogs and connected to it, default password being custom, KKuSToMM, all lowercase, or your cell phone number depending on when you purchased your set from us, you'll be prompted into the following website address: 4.3.2.1. It should automatically load, but if it doesn't, you can just go to your favorite browser and type that in while connected to the Wi-Fi hotspot. It'll prompt you to either go to Wi-Fi settings, where you can manually select it to connect to a specific Wi-Fi, or you can go to controls, this being what your controls looks like. Here your main screen will be a color picker along with your RGB sliders and some default colors. So if you look at the fogs and you choose the color here, it'll change accordingly on the little graph. Otherwise, if you want set colors, you can choose them here. White being the default color as per legal requirements. Remember, these are mainly for show and not for daytime driving. From here you can go to your effects tab, and you have a list of up to 40 plus effects. As you can see, quite a few. I'll give you an idea of how these work in another video, just a basic run through for now. But this top one is your brightness, the bottom one is the speed of the effect, and the that middle one is the speed of the effect, and the bottom one is the intensity of how many LEDs run and so forth, like this. So at the moment we've got it white. Let's just make it a more easier color. Let's go to colors. Let's go blue. Boom, blue. Right, cool. Let's see if we can get them both in the same shot. Yep. Right, then we're going to go to effects here at the bottom, the effects tab, and you can see there's a whole bunch of them. So for instance, if I go to first one's going to be Android, you're going to see it's going to run the effect. And if I change the speed or the intensity, more LEDs will come on or off. Change the speed, it'll go quicker. And then obviously your brightness. With white, don't run on full brightness for a long period of time, as it just burns out the LEDs quicker, and I don't think anyone wants that. Right, you'll see as you scroll through, the solid stays at the top, so at any given time you can go back to solid. Some, like I said, some patterns, effects will use the color you use, other ones will have their own. As you can see, that it's going quite quick, and you can slow it right down, changing the effects. Chase random, and there you go. If you have any questions, don't forget to give us a message or a like or a follow, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But with that, thank you very much and have a good day.